Thank you so much for joining us again for another installment. What I wish I knew. I am Jamie Lieberman, the owner and founder of Hashtag Legal, a law firm that works with online businesses, entrepreneurs, and service business owners. And I am joined today with one of my favorite people, Kate Ahl, the owner and CEO of Simple Pin Media. And she is just an industry leader in this world. And I could gush about her forever, but I'm going to introduce her first and let her tell you about herself. So Kate, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, absolutely. And I always love hanging out with you. We could talk forever, like blah, 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 blah. So
We
yes,
we got very lucky. We got to hang out at a conference not long ago, and I feel like we are forever bonded by both
yes,
our fun and the food that we ate.
yes, definitely.
So please tell everybody about yourself and about your business.
Yeah, so my business is Simple Pin Media. We are a Pinterest management and marketing company. So we specialize specifically in helping businesses use Pinterest so they can get more traffic, so they can make more sales, email conversions, and ad income or affiliate income. And we don't do any other social media. We just do Pinterest. I have the podcast about Pinterest, the Simple Pin podcast, teaching. We want to basically be the place that you go for all the education when it comes to how to do Pinterest marketing well without going down crazy rabbit trails and dispelling myths and all of that.
I would literally never go anywhere else. Like
Well,
you,
thank you.
you, no, you are to me the 100% expert on Pinterest. If I ever had a Pinterest person, you are synonymous with that in my head. So you've done it.
Mission accomplished.
And I've seen you speak and you rock at it. You make it very easy, very accessible. I feel like even me who like has shied away, I mean, literally I just joined YouTube, has shied away from social media for so long, even though I feel like Pinterest is more of a search engine anymore than really like true social media. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, absolutely.
Um, yeah, but still you make it feel like I could totally tackle it, which
Mhm.
I have not.
Yes, and it
So
takes a
you
while to wrap your brain around it. So I get it.
It does. It's a whole other world, I feel like. But this is why we have people like you to help us when we're like, can't do it.
Totally.
So, Kate, your business is different than a lot of the other people that we've spoken to. We've spoken to course creator, we've spoken to interior design professional, speaking coaches, branders, marketers. Yours is a little bit different. So, what has been one unexpected side effect of the pandemic on your business?
I think for us, Pinterest traffic is at an all-time high. So that's where people go. Like you said, it's a search and discovery platform. It's where people want ideas because they want to see the visual of what they have in their head. So whether it is they're buying a new product for their bathroom, or they're remodeling a room, or they're doing a recipe, Pinterest allows them to see it in its true form before clicking on the link. Whereas with Google, we just get a lot of links. And so for my business, because traffic is at an all-time high, people are going, oh man, I need to be there, because all of America is now using Pinterest to find the solution to the problems that they have at home now.
Which is like, I really wish that wall looked better, or I want to
Oh,
start this new project.
Or I want to dream. That's a big thing about Pinterest users, is that they are planners 3 to 6 months in advance. And so they're gathering a ton of ideas because they want to do something in the future. So even the travel industry, while it's been decimated completely by this, they are looking for ways to plan their future trip. Like, I want to go, to Mexico in a year. I want to
Hmm.
get lost in this. So pinners often will binge pin, and they'll just add a bunch to their boards because they're like, if only, right? But then eventually when they do it, they go back to their board, click on it, and they come to your website. So for us, our business owners are seeing this as a really great opportunity to get more email subscribers, to make more sales, and just get new eyeballs on content that maybe didn't get seen before because not as many people were online.
That's so interesting. So this is one of those areas that is actually truly, I don't want to say benefiting, but is seeing a resurgence because it's just what people need right now, right? Which is like
Yeah.
ping ponging what people need right now. That's so interesting. So in light of this obvious growth and that I'm sure you guys are crazy busy, what is one lesson you wish you knew before all of this happened?
Oh man, I feel like one of the things is there's a lot of things that I've had to cancel. And so
Mm.
I will say that just allowing myself to move through the process without rushing it. Like sometimes there's this whole hustle mode and we get into it and we're like, I got to do all the things. And I think because we don't know what we don't know yet, there's that whole thing of give yourself some grace and just walk through each day, seeing what it's going to be. Um, I, I think it's a little bit of a difficult question to answer for me because I think there's so much planning we can do. And I think the biggest thing is sometimes I just wish I knew it was coming. If I'm honest, like, when you see anything that comes about, you're like, oh man, I wish I knew. But I heard this great phrase in the beginning of when this started from a podcast. It was on Brooke Castillo's podcast. And she said, your future self doesn't get to criticize you for where you're at right now. And I loved that because I thought, you're right. Your future self has hindsight 2020, and yourself right now doesn't have any vision of what this will look like. And so for me, it's just been shifting and changing and saying, okay, things that maybe I was going to do in a year, I guess I have to do now. The need is now.
I love that you said that because so many people are panicking and rushing and cutting corners and not putting the steps in that are needed, thinking, I got to do this now because someone's going to do it before me, or I'm going to miss the boat, or I'm not going to get paid, or I really, really need money. And so I like the idea of slowing down. That's been one of my biggest lessons. I keep calling it my back to basics, my return to basics,
Yeah.
because so much of what is the foundation, the core foundation of your business has to continue. And I feel like, because and I know you did too, experienced rapid growth in our businesses, right? And so sometimes when that happens, I know and I won't speak for you, I sacrifice some of those basics in order to just keep going, to keep up. And now I'm going back to them. Marketing is a really good example for me. And so that is really where I'm slowing and saying, you know what, let me get some of this knowledge. Yes, I certainly have people who work with me that do it for me, but I need to know more. And so I've taken it as a time to just slow a little bit. And I'm grateful that I can. And I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm very scared about money. And I don't minimize any of that. And certainly if money is an issue, there's a whole other thing that are at play. But if you have the ability to not rush, I think that's beautiful advice.
Well, and I think too, there's we see a friend described it as there's two camps. There's the camp of people who are losing a lot and they're in a place of loss. And there's the camp of those who are gaining and they are not in this panicked place. And so I think it's recognizing where your people are at and what they're really struggling with. And for me, I have 38 team members. So my weight of that is I have 38 families where I need to help provide for them so that they still have an income. So I need to hustle in a different way that maybe I have not been motivated to do in the past because I've been a little lazy, but now it's like, I want to be motivated. And I think what you said is, to your point, not doing it in a way where there's corners cut, but doing it in a way that's like, okay, we were prepared for this. We're ready. It's time for go time. So you have to put a little fire underneath it, but do it well, do it in a sensitive way to where that camp of people that are experiencing loss don't feel like you're tone deaf to what they're experiencing.
Yes, there's so much noise and so much tone deaf noise.
Yes.
Sometimes you just wanted people to be like, shh.
Yeah, totally.
So have you had any plans that have changed, or have you had to change anything? What's going on?
Yeah, actually a ton. So first we were going to do our very first conference. We were going to hold the Simple Pin conference in the fall. And we just decided that wisdom was to cancel it and to wait until pushing it out another year. That was a really big sadness for me. And then any travel or speaking engagements I had, I still have one on the books in August. So we'll see if that still happens. And then my team meeting, it was something we do once a year. I fly all of my executive team members out here. So we were doing all of them, including, we have one in South Africa. We were flying her out. We got a big house. We were going to, plan all weekend, really get the momentum, and then also have a big party with our big team. And that was going to be in about a week and a half or so. And we just had to cancel on all of it. And it was like, oh, that loss of meeting in person as a virtual team feels pretty heavy, because we do love this in-person connection so much, and it really propels us into the next year. So that was a tough one to make the call on, and navigating people's different feelings about the situation, back about a month ago when we had to make the call. But it was like, you can't risk it, and it's not worth it. And now, of course, we can't do it anyway, but
Right.
that was probably a big tough one for me, is that in-person stuff.
Oh, I'm with you. I feel the exact same way. All of my speaking engagements got canceled. My team meeting as well. We normally do one in the summer, and we fly everyone to a different location every year. And obviously that's not happening. My next one is August too. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, you never know.
You don't.
But I feel that too. So what's really been the most important resource for you during this time?
I would say for me, it's been coaching. I have been a big believer in coaching really since I got started. So it's been the last 5 years. I've been coached with different people, but I found a good coach that's great at asking me questions and helping me streamline kind of where my thoughts are. And when I bump up against these places where I'm like discombobulated, she can help bring me back. And I've realized too, I love my masterminds, my personal masterminds a lot. And they're not paid, but I really love my coach that is paid, because she kind of grounds me in this place that says, I know what you're going to do with this. You've proven this. Let's try this. And so for me, that's been kind of this, I guess, just grounding point for me. And for her to say, why are you doing that? Like, are you doing that because it's this time, or are you doing that because you really feel like it would serve your people? And even simple questions like, ask how you can deliver value, or ask what they need instead of assuming. I just think you need good checkpoints, whether it's paid or not paid, good checkpoints in your life, just to really call you back into reality, kind of out of your own head. Yeah, it's been such a valuable resource for me. And I have a fantastic financial planner bookkeeper who works on the business, and she's been great for me too, just to center me financially on these things. And then my team, I mean, I can't do any of this without a team. I mean, I have the best job because I get to really just do vision and marketing and writing the creative stuff, and the boots on the ground is really my team. So without, coaching and the team, I would be completely sunk.
It's all about the people.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we're talking about, whether it's the travel, the third parties, the staff, whoever, it's at the end of the day, all of it is all about the people, right?
Totally.
And maintaining those connections we're used to being virtual, right? Like you and I have only really been in person with each other a small number of times, but you managed to forge those connections. But keeping up those connections is harder when you aren't. And so getting that time together, it matters. It means so much. So
totally.
Something to look forward to.
Something, please.
Yes, give us light, right?
Yeah.
So how are you communicating with staff? Have you changed, and clients, have you changed your message? Have you sort of continued along the same path, or have you made some tweaks?
We've continued along the same path, but we have added in, especially with our account specialists who are really the front line. And then I do primarily the teaching inside the collective, which are our students. But just knowing that there's a level of anxiety underneath everybody's questions and needs. So we came up with, when this started to happen, we gave ourselves 3 things for Q2, and that was to be kind, to be helpful, and to be sustainers. And that we would do these things during this time and be that, so that if a question would be received, please, to try to say, don't receive it in a negative way and don't match it, but respond in kindness, because you just never know the stress or the anxiety that's going through people. We have had an increase in client communication because people are home. And with some of that, you can get those anxious emails about like, what's going on, or I want to try this, but how do we project kindness and confidence in all that we do? And that's the same with team members too, as these team members are really experiencing, juggling our promoted pins director, she has 2 little kids at home. She's doing school and she's paying for school. And so she feels this pressure to continue with school. And now her husband's home and he's doing calls and keeping kids quiet, and we've talked about that. It's juggling all the things. So how do you help how do you help release expectations and just say, life is different and that's okay. So tell us what you need and what your schedule is going to look like, and we'll just make sure it works. And I think that people just need that relief of knowing they don't have to meet someone else's expectations.
Yes, I love that. We've been calling it in our team having grace.
100%.
Just having grace for other people and ourselves. And I keep saying this to friends who, are juggling. Everybody has something right now, right? Like there is always, everyone has something, and there's no tick box of whose is worse. It's all something. And so, a lot of people are like, oh, but I'm lucky because I have X. Yes, own that luck and feel lucky. And that is great, but it is still okay to acknowledge that things are different. Things may be hard and everybody's is different. So grace has been something that I feel like I've been just trying. We at the law firm, like we get people often at their worst moments, they're scared. And so you compound that with what's happening now. And it's just, we take a lot of bullets from people.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
You do have to. Yeah. Which is hard. I heard a great friend describe it as like, you can't trade suffering. Yeah. Like, so don't try, don't diminish, like feel it. And that's what it is. And it's hard. And it is what it is for your life. It looks different than other people.
Exactly. So just, I always say this, like when I talk about negotiation too, like always remain calm, always lead with kindness. That doesn't mean you can't be firm. That doesn't mean you can't hold strong in your position and demand respect, because just because someone is having a difficult time doesn't mean they get a free pass to disrespect. However, it is always in the way that you respond, I think that's such a good framework that you gave. And I'm sure your staff is like so appreciative of having that. It matters. It means something. Yeah. So what advice would you give to a new business owner? Because I'm pretty sure, I'm going to hazard a guess, there's going to be a lot of business owners coming out of this who are creating new businesses. And, we've been doing this a while. So I'd love to hear your words of advice.
Yeah, I would say number one is you need wisdom. And that comes from people who have done it before you. And you have to look for that first, because even the people that I know that are in corporate that are coming online, there's little things that they don't know that they didn't know before. Like, how they're going to be sitting at their desk all day, things as simple as like where to have the light in your Zoom call, or, they're exhausted because they're sitting all day and they didn't realize how many steps they used to walk before around their building, or little things. So I would say find somebody who's been in your specific business at least 3 years ahead of you. Ask them for time, offer to pay them too. I think that's one thing, there's people who will definitely offer and say like, hey, pick my brain. And that's if they offer it, and great, walk through that door, but don't assume that. Lead with, hey, can I pay you for an hour of your time? Because that hour, even though you paid it, the investment will save you years of failure, because we all learn through failure. So learn from us. We will tell you what not to do. Yes. And I would say any new business owner, that's going to be 100% what I would start with is find a mentor, find a coach. I did that in the beginning too, because I said, I'm tripping over my feet. I do not know what foot to put in front of the other. I don't know where to start. Please tell me. And that radically changed my business and grew it tremendously.
I love that advice, because I feel like it's very easy to Google all the things. What we don't pay attention to is source. That's why the way I started with you, I'm not kidding. And I say this with complete, if there is a Pinterest question, I'm calling you, because you are the expert. Like, I know you know what you're talking about, and I'm not going to waste time Googling nonsense. I'm going to go to your resources, and I'm literally going to read what you say, and I'm going to know I can trust it. And so finding trusted sources is so critical. Google is not the answer, just like you should not be Googling your medical symptoms.
Totally.
Don't Google your business advice. Yeah,
you're right.
Especially now. Don't Google your business advice. So find that mentor. I love that advice. Or the coach.
And remember too that like don't assume it's really expensive. You know, you and I have
Yeah.
talked about this before, this assumption of lawyers and being a gazillion dollars and they can never afford it. You might be surprised. You know, even people coming to me saying, I can't afford your services. You don't know until you ask, or you don't know what
Yes.
it's going to look like. So you might be able to afford it and you could be fast tracked compared to Googling and figuring it out. Just sometimes just pay for it.
It's so true. Ah, beautiful words of wisdom. Kate, thank you so much. Can you please tell everyone where they can find you? Because everybody needs to know about Pinterest,
Yes.
obviously.
You can go to simplepinmedia.com, and I am at simplepinmedia on all social channels. And if you're on Instagram, you can DM me any questions over there too. I'm happy to help.
Awesome. And your podcast too.
And podcasts. Yeah, listen to that. That comes out every single week. We are at 4 years of the podcast, almost 200 episodes.
You are the OG. I mean, not many people can say that. Congratulations. That's
Thank
huge.
you. It's
That's
amazing.
huge.
Yeah.
Podcasting is awesome. I'm a huge fan. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.